Oh yeah, ay. When you need a hand and you don't know why, just know that I'll be there. When the road is long and you feel so tired.
Start the video and then start doing more setup stuff, right? It's like, oh, you know what, I should try that. Oh, I should do this. Isn't that how it always is? It's like start a project or you do something and then you're like, oh, I should do that next. I should do this. Story of my life. Yeah, I'm gonna work with me right now. Yeah, anyway. Hey everybody, John Reagan with E-Powersport, and it's been a while since I've done a coffee chat. So I wanted to sit down this morning on Sunday, that doesn't have a date on it, March 11th, and just go over some things with you guys. And you know, we have our new little spaces here that we're setting up at the shop, kind of like comfy little sit down areas where people can hang out while we do repairs and stuff. For example, this last Friday, a customer came in, front brakes completely shot in about an hour, had his brakes done for him, hydraulics rebled and everything. He even gave me a little help with holding the bike. And yeah, out the door. So, and he just got to chill and hang out while we got it done. Or I say, well, I got it done. So, as you see, some of the stuff we're using here, I've got the chairs, the micro mobility cart set up as chairs over here, and kind of the waiting seating area. We're gonna get TVs and stuff in here, and get some more of these bikes assembled and put through. And yeah, so it'll be really nice. Be able to hang out, listen to music, maybe watch the TV and stuff, and you know, it'll be a good little spot. I'm really excited about that. And actually, I'm gonna talk a little bit too at the end about where I got all this stuff. Great place, dude hooks it up. So the bikes are selling. All right, I wanted to let you guys know right now we only have 5 of the carbon fiber electric motorcycles available for sale. Yeah, and then we were needing to order more. So, so that's a good thing. We've sold 12F as well as some other product and stuff, but really the VMX 10s, I'm kind of surprised no one's picked up on those yet, because it's a single gear unit. I mean, first of all, it just looks sexy. Everyone that sees it says that. Oh, it's a sexy looking bike. But it also has a 10 kilowatt motor, which gets it over 60 miles an hour pretty smoothly. It's actually a very nice, smooth, easy riding bike. I mean, are you gonna pull wheelies on it? Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna pull wheelies on it. Maybe put it in sport mode and gun it and you really do it, but it's got some good weight to it, which gives it good, solid handling on the road. I keep looking this way because they're over there. I should have them behind me. And it gives it a good stability at higher speeds. Like some of our lighter bikes, you get up there around 60, 70 miles an hour and it's scary. But these ones, they ride nice and smooth. So yeah, so they're selling, and I would recommend, if you can, before we actually hit the season, because we're still a little early this year. I think it's going to be more like end of April, beginning of May. Right now I'm looking out my window at the sky. And I think that's when we'll see the season really start to pick up, just because of the weather and stuff, the way everything's been. But I would say get them early, as early as possible. We are going to look to put in a spring order, which will hopefully get the end of spring. And you know, it's going to include more carbon fibers, of course. The VMX 08 is just a beautiful bike all around. And there's some other ones that we're going to be bringing in that are going to just blow your mind. I mean, everybody seems to be all hot and bothered about the VMX 12, which is funny to me, right? I get a lot of calls about it. People talk about it. You know how many people have bought one? None. Not one. So everybody's all hype about these bikes, and I get it. They're like, oh, you know, I see dude riding it, I see wheeling, it's so cool. But then, you know what? Nobody buys one. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, I want to get one. You can't buy it. They're like, why can't you buy it? I just can't buy it. It's like, okay. So it's funny to me. And you know, to be honest with you, the VMX 12 is a good bike. It's actually really, a really great bike. But at the same time, it's quirky, right? It came out a few years back. I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 year old unit. The alarms have some issues. They're a little funky. You have to do certain things with them. Really trading out some of the ignition, the push button ignition for a key ignition is probably a better route for that one. But yeah, they're okay, but they're old tech, right? And they're great. It's not okay. I mean, they freaking rock it. But but they're older technology, and there's newer stuff that's coming out that really blows these away. Like, I was watching the videos of guys with these new bikes, and they were launching off stuff. It's just like, this is crazy. So yeah, I mean, we're talking bikes with 1,000 Newton meters of torque at the wheel. That'll just, I mean, if that's what you want, have a good time. So some of the other stuff that the questions I get about these things, which always surprises me. People ask me, does it wheelie? And again, I ask them, are you able to do a wheelie? And they'll say, well, yeah. And I'll say, well, then you can wheelie it. It's doing a wheelie, like somebody told me once, it doesn't matter what car you drive, it's more about the driver. So the reality is, when it comes to doing a wheelie, if you can do wheelies, you will figure out how to do wheelies on something, right? I will admit that on a lot of these, you'll need to disconnect the rear brake sensor, so that way the motor doesn't cut off when you hit the rear brake. But in general, yeah, it's just, can you wheelie? So what most people really mean when they say, can it wheelie, is they're asking, at least in my mind, what they're asking is, can it power wheelie? Does it have enough power that if I hit it, will it lift itself off the ground? And thankfully, in some ways, no, right? Yes, in some ways, but no in others, because will it lift itself off the ground if you hit it and just give it a little bounce? Oh yeah, it'll freaking pop itself up like a freaking gopher. But it's not necessarily you hit it and it's gonna throw you off every time. We have bikes like that, and we can tune these bikes to do that if that's what you want to do. Which leads me into my next part that I wanted to talk about, and that's that we've had some really great customers. I've mentioned this in previous videos as well, but one of our customers has really dug deep into the VMX-08. He has said it's a good battery pack. He said it's well built. The motor is able to handle way more than what the pack and controller can push to it, which is a good thing. And that it's actually able to perform at an even higher level than it's set for now. And so he has been tinkering with the config files, and I know that's something I should be doing, but I've got a business to run at the same time. It's hard for me to get into the tech side. That's where I was supposed to be getting some help. But he jumped on and has helped me with that now, and I really appreciate it so much. But he sent me a config file that I'm going to try out on the VMX-08. And once I played with it, validated it, I mean, I'm sure it's good. He's already sent it over. He's already tested it. He knows more about what he's doing in this stuff than I do. It's just, to be honest, he's deep. I'm excited to try it out. He thinks that these, when tuned correctly, should be able to go over 70 miles an hour. So pretty sustained. And that it's all about how you turn that torque curve. So he sent me this. I'm gonna check it out. You guys know me, I like to go fast. Fast and high. Hard and fast? Fast and hard? How are you gonna put it? Fast and furious? No, I don't do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up a repository of config files that you'll be able to use on your controllers, all right? Now, what does that mean for you? That means that once you download that config file, you will sign and check a box that says, I understand the downloading and use of this config file will void my warranty, okay? So going in and changing them from factory settings is one of the few things that will void your warranty. And it's just whether or not what settings and stuff you do is irrelevant. It has more to do with changing the way the factory meant for it to operate when it came out. And I'm not gonna say that, oh, it's like perfectly set up and da-da-da-da, that's not my point. My point is, the factory set it out in a certain way, it's supposed to go out and work that way, that's how we can warranty it. So, keep that in mind. We will make these configuration files available, and you are to use them at your own risk, essentially, and that will be something that you will sign off on before you're allowed to download and use those configuration files. Okay. Another thing that I was looking at recently, and I wanted to do a video about this earlier this week, just on this point, because it's driving me crazy. It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing, which I think is funny. There's been a lot of talk about industry overstock, especially in the bicycle industry, which we're part of. We do bikes, motorcycles, scooters. And that, I think, is kind of a double-edged sword. So yes, companies did stock a lot of bikes because they thought they were going to sell a lot of bikes, right? Because of the pandemic. However, what I think has happened, if you look at the numbers, you had an emerging technology, mainstreaming technology coming out in e-bikes, right? So the electric bicycle all of a sudden began to have its day in the sun. And as that happened, fewer and fewer people were buying regular bicycles, right? That they would normally replace on a normal cadence, and then the secondary market, they would sell theirs on the secondary market. Well, what's come to pass is people are buying electric bikes, or they bought an electric bike, and now that regular bike they may have bought is sitting stocked in the warehouse waiting for them to buy it, and it's not happening. And so we're seeing a huge discount discounts across the industry on regular bicycles. I mean, some of these guys have been talking about like 50% off on something. It's crazy the numbers they're talking about. And the numbers that are available. I mean, if you're looking for a regular bike, I mean, the time to buy one is definitely either now or in like the next 30, 60 days, because they're trying to bleed out that stock, right? And get their numbers readjusted in their stocking. Which, it makes sense, right? People didn't think about how the pandemic affected those things. And even in some ways, my partners didn't, but luckily we didn't end up with a lot of e-bikes and stuff, because a lot of that I prefer to do drop ship, just so we're not stocked. I would rather this be a nice place for people to come, hang out, learn about stuff. We have stock available, and you know, you can take it off when you buy it. You can take it home. Everybody says you shouldn't say when you're doing these things, but I do it my way. So I think that, again, what we're seeing there isn't necessarily a dearth or apocalypse in this sense for the e-bike and bicycle industry. I think we saw some cannibalization of the regular bikes by electric bike purchases. And now what we're seeing is how that, at this stage, is going to level the numbers that had existed and the ones that didn't exist before on the electric bikes. So as that plays out, we'll see a lot of companies pawn, I think. And I've actually seen a lot of the standard companies really starting to push more e-bikes, because those are the numbers they already see, right? They know this stuff. They're like, oh wait, e-bikes are selling like crazy. We're not selling our bikes because e-bikes are selling. We need to make an e-bike. And the sad thing to me is a lot of them make an e-bike and they really just kind of suck. They just like, oh, that's $5,000 and it does 20 miles an hour. I can buy a motorcycle. I could buy one of my motorcycles. Oh, that's crazy money. As a matter of fact, we're selling Coulters for $5,000. So yeah, you can go buy a specialized cargo carrier. You can buy a whole freaking motorcycle. You figure that one out. And then trikes. Right now, the big trend is in trikes. People have always wanted trikes, but I think that as the companies that were bringing out products and doing things started looking at it, they're like, oh, trikes are very highly requested, and if they didn't carry them, you can see they produced one. Electric produced one. Rad produced one, which quite honestly, when you compare the two together, the Rad trike compared to the electric trike, the electric trike just kills it. I mean, honestly, the Rad trike is lean down and over expensive. It costs too much, and the electric trike is just, right in the sweet spot of pricing and performance and what it comes with and stuff. So the only other ones I'd probably recommend are some of the kind of more standard fat tire ones that are out there, but they're a little more spendy than the electric trike. So think about that for a minute. If there was such a dearth, if there was such an apocalypse of sales in the e-bike industry, why would you start coming out with these new products, right? Why would you try to hone in on your sales to produce more sales in the categories you have? Producing another SKU is nice, but in this case it's a good idea because a lot of people want trikes. But it's not usually the approach you'd probably take. You'd probably try to hone in and do better with your marketing, be more focused sales, figure out where you can optimize some other areas. So I don't think we're seeing that. I think what we're seeing really is the leveling in the industry between regular bikes and electric bikes. And I think that's what's gonna, and then other items in that category of electric people movers or just people movers that aren't cars. So, I thought my phone was ringing. Let's turn those off too. I don't think it's gonna last very long. I think if we're lucky, this whole situation will probably, well, if you're lucky as a consumer, it'll probably last until like May. If we're lucky as a business, it'll probably be over the end of March and beginning of April, things will start going into, I don't wanna say normal, but at least like into the season of sales for these items. And then as we move into those seasons of sales, we want to start getting in other motorcycles and stuff as well. So we're looking to bring in new units, we're looking to bring in new product. I've already been talking with a company that has a really, really interesting trials bike. I mean, the thing is just crazy, and I really want to get some of those in because I like trials bikes, and because I like them. And we're going to continue to advance on the tuning and stuff of these units, going in and checking them out, figuring out what can be done to make them better. And the more that people buy these, the more that we come together as a community and put this stuff together, the more fun we can all have with them, which we're all about that. So so I think that's really coming to kind of the point there where things are starting to coalesce, they're starting to build up. We've had multiple dealer inquiries from different places, a couple on the East Coast, 2 out of Cali. And it's interesting, we're open to working with people in how they want to sell these and how we can support them. And so that's kind of how we want to put that out. And then again, this stuff, all the furniture and stuff I got from a new, let's say, business contact friend of mine, Greg's Garage Sale. You might be able to find them online, check them out if you can. And then other than that, we just have a lot more coming, and I'm just right now, I'm just clearing stuff out, building bikes, and getting them sold. That's what we gotta do. That's what we're happening here. And cannot wait to get these new bikes out in so we can get them out to you guys, because they're the numbers are phenomenal, the quality is top notch, and the pricing is really good for what you're getting. So I'll be really excited to bring these new ones in too. Really enjoyed the batch we have here. We're going to continue to work with Belly Motors and bring in their products. We're also going to be expanding out to a couple other new brands, and I think that you guys will be really excited about them. At least hopefully as excited as I am to ride them. I don't just sell them. I don't just do this to make money, and stuff. This is how I live. I literally live it. Slept in my office for the last 2 weekends so I can hang out here and build bikes and get things ready and do stuff. I don't regret any of it. It's fucking wonderful. It is fucking wonderful. Well, thank you guys for helping me make this dream. And we're just gonna keep going. More dreaming. into reality. That's what we do. Have fun, ride safe.